Hello. Remember, COVID-19 is real. Always stay safe. Okay, now we're doing a lesson on our knob cylinders. These are box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4. I deliberately bought it here so we can limit the time we need to record. So to carry this, the teacher has to show the example from the shelf where I got it from. You carry it next to the chest like this, and you place it at the workstation. Remember, always sit on the child's dominant hand. Now, what's the difference between box 1, 2, 3, and 4? Box 1 comes in different diameter and different height. The lower you go, the smaller the diameter, the shorter the height. Box 2, there's also a difference in the diameter and the height, but the smaller the diameter, the greater the height. Remember, box 1, the higher the diameter, the higher the height. The lower the diameter, the lower the height. Box 2, the higher the diameter, the lower the height. Higher the diameter, lower the diameter, higher height, lower diameter, higher height. Then for box 3 and 4, they are similar. I'll show you how. Notice that the diameters, when I say diameter, I mean the round circle at the top. The diameter is decreasing, but the height is the same for all of them. While in this other case, the diameter is constant, but the height increases or decreases. So with this one, different diameter, the same height. While this one, the same diameter, different height. So it's just opposite of the other. So box 3 and 4 are opposite of each other. Box 1 and 2 opposite of each other. So okay, let's go over to our lesson. So I'll do a presentation with box 1. The presentations are all the same. We have 2 presentations. We have 1, familiarization, then 2, the main work. Now remember, everything you do on maths, the child should be given an opportunity to practice it. This just entails us taking out each of these. Familiarization, I prefer that you place it in front of it so the child appreciates it first of all. Some people like to just go to the second presentation straight, but this is what I do. So, after we take it out, we look into our boxes and we match. So, looking into it, I use my finger to measure the diameter. This gives me a muscular impression of how long it took me to go around it, and I also check this. How long did it take me to go around it? I think they should be about the same thing. Now, you could either use a little stick to put into it to check how deep it is. If you don't have a stick, you can use your finger, but I know here it might be difficult for you, so that's why most people use a stick. But for the little child, this might not be difficult because most of them have tiny fingers. So you can check the height too, that's another way, and you place it. So you pick with your non-dominant hand, measure with your dominant hand, measure with your dominant hand. Measure and match. So this is called familiarization because the child gets to know that each of these has to match its own hole. So it goes into every cylindrical hole. I'm trying to do this so I can be fast to go to the second presentation, but whatever I did here, that's what you're supposed to do, check, match, and. So the second presentation, we now scatter this. Place them at different points. And this helps the child in logical reasoning and sense of dimension to check. Because these are all different dimensions in height, in diameter, and even in weight too, because the smaller ones are actually lighter than the bigger ones. So this is the first box. I check. Check. What do I think would match this? I think this. So Let's check. If I'm not too sure, I check again. I check with my finger. I know exactly where it stopped. It stopped somewhere here. So I check here. And it's the same. So place it. The next hole is wider, deeper. So I think it should be this. So let's check. Round. Check round. Check depth. Okay, so it's somewhere here. I check it. That's what it is. And so on and so forth. So I check for each of them and I match them accordingly. After a while, the children will be able to do it on their own without any further guidance. So that's how you do the first and second presentation. You can take both of them in one day. When you're done with box one, you can actually do two boxes. Now this should actually face this way. Because of the camera, I'll put it to face this way. This is the first variation. In the first variation, we can actually place them like this. The child builds something, it's beautiful to him or her. He sees how it just comes out. And the child also does the same thing on this side. Now we don't encourage that you mix the knob cylinders of two boxes, because sometimes a cylinder might fit into the other one when it's not supposed to be there. So we prefer that even if you intend to mix them up, don't mix two boxes at the same time or even more than two. So the child sees this, appreciates it, and that's one of the variations. Another variation could be, instead of laying it out straight up like this, the child can mix them up and match. So this is another variation. This could be given as a task by the teacher to help the child with logical reasoning. First of all, the child comes and looks at it, looks at this holes, know that, okay, this should be for this, while this should be for this. Then they begin to measure and check which hole does each belong to. And they do the same thing. They pick what they think it is, measure it round, measure it round, measure, measure. This prepares the child also for mensuration in mathematics. You know, Sensorial prepares the children for mathematics. Not only for mathematics, for writing like this. You have your pin side prepared, so it prepares the child for writing, and then it prepares the child for mathematics. With this, like I said, you have the difference in weight, you have the difference in height, you have the difference in diameter. So this prepares the child for mathematics. For those who are in primary section, when you're slated to use the knob cylinder, the children should actually get a ruler or a tape to actually measure and record each of the cylinders in height and perhaps the perimeter of the circle at the top. So this helps them. They could use it also to determine capacity. What fills this up? Capacity. So it helps in mathematics. So let me quickly just show the third presentation at once, and before my video time is up, or my recording time is up. So okay, so you see, when there's an error, the child knows because it doesn't fit. There's too much space, and of course it wouldn't fit in here. So those are the control of errors in this material. That's why it's called a didactic material. It's self-explanatory, it's self-corrective too. So it's not a teaching aid, it's a didactic material. So when you're done with box 3, you do the same kind of presentation with this. They form this. They could place this here, place this here, and place this here. The same thing. Then the final presentation, when you're done with your box 4, they build something like this. And it actually looks like a castle. And they line them up beautifully. and construct what they need. Another exercise I like them to carry out whenever they work with the cylinders. Let me get a pen and a pencil. Sorry, a pencil and plain paper. Okay, so these are extensions, or you call them variations, because the child is learning. The task could be to draw the base, trace the base of every single cylinder. When they draw the base, I should actually use a pencil because this is coloring the base of my cylinder, which is not right. So, and when they draw it, they can see the difference. Another way also is to trace the height, especially for cylinders with different heights. That is where you have a box of cylinder with different heights. The child does this himself or herself. So the child easily sees the difference between the bigger and the smaller, the bigger and the smaller. So these are all variations that help the child understand the aspect of sensorial that has to do with dimension. So thank you very much.